invitation. Yeah. Invitation to the truth. So you can understand where I'm coming from. YAH. Yeah, I'ma give you an invitation to my style and my purpose, so y'all can understand where I'm coming from the surface. For those who have ears, let them hear what I'm saying. I'm talking direct speech, so you know I ain't playing. No more delaying my direct dialogue with the children of Israel, who needs to pay attention to the words that I'm spitting. And when I mention the curses, never rehearse this. I'm giving y'all a physical description of the curses, like Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, you can't escape this wrath, and religion ain't gonna save you. Stabbing who you dwell with.
To the book of Jonah. Jonah is the antithesis of this whole lesson, brothers and sisters. Jonah, he is a prophet of YAH. Jonah is the one prophet that I can see his spirit in a whole lot of Israelites today. Israelites aware. Let's read about Jonah and understand it. The book of Jonah, we're going to go through this. Take our time and go through this. Later book. It's Ryan Obadiah and Michael. Man, we were in the class in Orlando, and we were looking at one book. He said, "Where's the book of Zephaniah at?" I said, "Oh, that's easy. That's between Habakkuk and Haggai." But if that helps. But anyway, Jonah, the first chapter started off at verse 1. We're gonna break this thing down. Go ahead.
Now the word of Yahweh came unto Jonah, son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me.
Now Nineveh, that's the capital city of Assyria. So these were Assyrians or Asher. This was the Ninevites was, okay? So go ahead.
But Jonah rose up to flee the Tarshish from the presence of Yah, and went down to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of Yah.
Now I don't know where his understanding was, him being a prophet. The Father speaking directly to him, telling him to do one thing, and Scripture said that he is fleeing from the presence of Yah. How do you flee from the presence of Yah? I don't get it. I don't get it. I think Cain tried to do the same thing to kill Abel. You know, like, oh man, the Father ain't gonna find out about this. You know, wow, I don't know what my brother is. My brother's keeper. What you asking me that for? You know, the same thing. Here he is, Jonah fleeing. Father telling him to go one way, he's going the exact opposite direction. I have no idea, you know. Maybe someday, if I escape far enough, maybe Father get somebody else to do it. I don't know.
Maybe they had that understanding.
Something, I don't know. Okay, verse 4.
But Yahweh sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Then the mariners were afraid, and they cried every man to his Elohim, right, and cast forth the wares that were in the ship into the sea to lighten it of them. But Jonah was going down to the sides of the ship, and he lay and was fast asleep.
So the mariners on the ship, he said they were afraid, and they cried every man to his Elohim. That tells me that there were people, men of other nationalities that was on the ship, serving their own different Elohim on that ship. Okay, and they were crying, they were distraught, boy, they were going through a thing. But then you got Jonah, he's going down inside of the ship, and he was just knocked out, sleeping. Verse 6.
So the shipmaster came to him and said, What meanest thou, O sleeper? Arise, call upon thy Elohim. If so be the Elohim will think upon us, that we perish not.
He like, no, now you hear, we all of us been calling on our Elohim. It ain't been working.
Right.
So, man, hey, man, stop sleeping. Wake your butt up, man. Yours might be the one that might do the trick.
Yeah.
Call upon your Elohim if it be that he will think on us and we perish not. Verse 7.
And they said, everyone to his fellow, Come and let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell upon Jonah.
Wow, that's heavy right there. Because their understanding was that for them, this is a heavy thing because they, these mariners probably made this trip 100 times. But for them to be going through this great big thing, they're like, wait a minute, now this ain't no normal thing. It's like what we were talking about earlier about this whole thing about with the oil spilling into the sea. No, ain't no accident. There's a reason for all this stuff that's going on right now. And then we see that, I think they said there were 3 great statues of this pagan Greek that was struck down in less than a week almost.
Right.
Huh? Man. And that ain't no coincidence. It is. It's heavy. Something is going on, and it's undeniable. Okay, it's undeniable. It's happening right now, and the thing is, there's a reason why it's happening. So that's the mindset that these mariners had. This ain't no haphazard thing that's going on right now. We casting lots, so somebody on this ship ain't right. Whoever the true Elohim is, he's after somebody on this ship, but we about to find out right now. Okay, verse 8.
Then said they unto him, tell us, we pray thee, for whose cause this evil is upon us. What is thine occupation, and whence comest thou? What is thy country, and what people art thou?
You know what's interesting about that? They breaking it down to they trying to figure out at what point of this understanding is the transgression falling on, okay? But look how they broke this thing down. I think that's very interesting because that's kind of like what I was alluding to when I started off in Genesis the 10th chapter. It says, tell us, we pray thee, for whose cause is this evil upon us? Okay, because a lot of people don't so you know something. I mean, Brown said, he said, somebody knows something. He said, hey, what causes evil come upon us? What is your occupation? You might not be doing your job. Okay? Whence coming to? You might be coming from somewhere that you ain't supposed to be coming from. Okay? What is thy country? Country means, like we were saying earlier, that's your nationality. The country that you are a citizen of, separated from, and what people thou art. Right, so again, that again shows you 2 separate things right there. Okay, and let's look at the characteristics of Jonah here. To show how he's the antithesis of Israelites aware today, okay? First thing he did was he's a prophet. That's his occupation. That was the answer to his occupation, him being a prophet. But he was a disobedient prophet. Okay? And he obviously didn't fear YAH, because if you feared YAH, you would be obedient to YAH. You can't fear YAH and not be obedient. It just don't work that way. Okay? So that's kind of contradictory right there. Okay? So, but then, when he was called to task, the first thing he did, just like what we do, we wear that Hebrew Israelite on our sleeve. I am an Israelite, a Hebrew. And always quick to try to screw the people that's who we are, Hebrew. But wait a minute. And you just don't think it. Your actions have to be according to what you're speaking. And Jonah's action was not according to what came out of his mouth. That was so crazy, huh? But he was quick to come with it. I am a Hebrew, and I fear YAH. See, y'all fear those other Elohim. Oh, I heard y'all. I was asleep, but I heard a little bit of that. Y'all calling on this one, y'all calling on that one, y'all calling on that one. I'm like, look at these heathens calling on those pagan deities. That's how we think. We think that, now look at that church over there, got the big cross on there. All the people going in there on Sunday, worship Sunday, Christmas, look at them going in there on Christmas, man. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, man. Some must get so bored, man. I wish I had a gun. I'd shoot every last one of them right now. You got some of us that think like that. Stupid. And that's what we're to do here. I am a Hebrew and I serve YAH. That's what I serve. YAH, the Elohim of heaven, which has made the sea and the dry land. Not your Elohim, and your Elohim, y'all crying in the bottom of the ship. I can see that.
Right.
You know, but that's what he did. He said, I feared God. The Elohim, yeah.
Details.
Right. And this is just, ain't nothing new under the sun. Same Israelite, right here. Okay? Verse 10.
Then were the men exceedingly afraid, and saying unto them, Why hast thou done this?
Man, whoa. Just look at this for a minute. See, I'm going to tell y'all, that's the way I love to read scriptures, is I like to always draw back, because, and like I told you, pay attention, it reveals the story. Ain't that what them Gibeonites did? They feared him exceedingly.
Right.
And now you got these heathens right here with the same fear. When he opened his mouth and said who he was,
They heard that name.
when they heard that, he said they feared him exceedingly. Like, oh man, this ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? And the men were exceedingly afraid and said unto him, go ahead.
Why hast thou done this? For the men knew that he fled from the presence of Yahweh because he had told them. And they said unto him, What shall we do unto thee, that the sea may be calm unto us? For the sea wrought and was tempestuous.
Now, here it is. This is so deep. So it's just like people in your family or friends, whatever. You know, they say, man, Chappelle, you know, I know he talk about he served Yah, you know, and that's his thing, you know. But, you know, I'm a Baptist. I go to my church or whatever. That's what these guys is like. He'd already told them all that. But they like, okay, well, you serve Yah, you know, okay, but no, this is my thing. I'm still following the position of my people and my family. But then, when the sun started hitting the fan, and when he opened his mouth and reiterated to them the thing, then they knew that this wasn't no game no more. It was real. It's going to happen the same way. It's going to happen again the same way, brothers and sisters. And we need to be right when it happens, okay? We don't need to be like Jonah. We need to straight up be right, you know? Because just like we on Facebook, a lot of us on Facebook, you know? You got some of us that's posting y'all all the time, consistently y'all all the time. But our friends are, you know, Christians, or Muslims, or whatever, friends, family. They're seeing the stuff that we're posting on here, you know what I'm saying? But they're like, oh, you know, that's the pair, you know, but I still love him. That's still my brother, this, that, the other, you know. And they know, you know, but because it ain't that real to them yet. But when it get real to them, believe me, be in the right place when it begins to be real to them. That's all I'm saying. And the only way we can be in the right place, brothers and sisters, we need to stop fighting one another and start joining ourselves to this common history that we have, our culture and our heritage. Understand the covenant. If we can all agree on this covenant, which is one covenant that created us to be who we are, our various systems built on this covenant, then from that we can learn how to respect each other. And then we should also know how to deal with the heathen out here, or the people of other nations out here, okay? But when do we leave off that? Right, we're supposed to be, that's right. That's why we know, because it was part of the covenant, absolutely. That we're supposed to be a blessing to all nations. Okay? But here it is, they were extremely afraid, okay? And so they were so afraid, they didn't even want to put their hands on him at that point. Okay, this is prophet of God. I ain't gonna put my hand on this cat. Okay, I know I serve Jews and I serve, you know, all these other shit, but no, this is real, huh? They had to ask him, they had to get permission. Then said that to him, what shall we do unto thee, that the sea may be calm unto us? For the sea wrought and was tempestuous. Verse 12.
And he said unto them, Take me up and cast me forth into the sea, so shall the sea be calm unto you. For I know that for my sake this great tempest is upon you. Nevertheless the men rowed hard to bring it to the land, but they could not, for the sea wrought and was tempestuous against them.
See, they still did, even though he told them to take them up, they still were like, I don't know. I don't know. See, we ain't that bright. This kind of brings me to mind the whole thing with David and how David understood that you don't put your hands against God knowing it. But all the other people didn't understand it. They kept trying to make a, you know, David, Saul, whose team you on? I'm on David's team. I'm on Saul's team. But David like, hey, you know, I'm on YAH's team. I ain't got no team. The Father gonna deal with me according to good or bad, and wherever I am, you better be on YAH's team, not on David's team.
Right.
That's what made David a man after Yah's own heart.
Right.
But we still doing all that schism and all this, that, and the other. Man, the Father ain't with that. You're either on Yah's side or you're not on Yah's side. That's the only side that matters, okay? So here it is. So these men, they roll hard, but they ain't want to put their hands on. They understood. I can't put my hands on Yah's anointed. I know this cat is crazy, got all types of problems, but man, this is a problem with Yah.
Right.
You know, hey, that's what they ain't really doing. Verse 14.
Wherefore they cried unto Yahweh and said, we beseech thee, O Yahweh, we beseech thee. Let not us perish for this man's life, and lay not upon us innocent blood. For thou, O Yahweh, hast done as it has pleased thee.
Now, what did he just do? Jonah, in his ignorance, inadvertently became a blessing to these heathens right there on that ship that he wasn't even supposed to be on. They were serving other ales when they got on that ship, but by this time, they all calling on one YAH with one consent. There was no more calling on those pagan deities no more. That's heavy.
Oh, yes.
He inadvertently did just what he was supposed to do, being a representative of Yah, being a priest, and converted, and these were heathens. They were obviously heathens on that ship. If they wasn't heathens, they would have known he was a Hebrew, an Israelite. Come on. Come on. I don't want to see, don't be posting this crazy stuff on YouTube about how you know this, how you know that, because the scriptures tell us all this, okay? You need to sit down and listen to this. This is deep. Man, them guys was converted. They called upon God. In fact, the part about it is those people didn't matter to Yah. Yah could have just killed them all for the sake of Jonah. Okay? But let's go ahead. But they called upon Yah. Verse 15.
So they took up Jonah and cast him forth into the sea, and the sea ceased from her raging.
That's right. Exactly right. So those cats, when they were converted, they got their mind right. They got their mind right. Let's see if Jonah got his mind right, though. You have to say, let's see if the Hebrew that feared Yah, if he got his mind right. Because those cats got their mind right. They came on that ship one way, but they didn't get off the same way. That's crazy, man. Okay, there it is. Go ahead.
Then the men feared Yah exceedingly, and offered sacrifice unto Yahweh and made vows.
Didn't I just mention how our fear only lasts for a second? The sea got calm, so they was cool, but they didn't go back to serving them pagan deities. It's even after the sea got calm and they feared Yah exceedingly. Wow. And they feared Yah exceedingly, where we offered sacrifice unto Yah and made vows. They made vows unto Yah, okay? Made vows, and believe me, them vows were taken seriously because they understood, just like the Gibeonites understood, that you don't play when you make a vow unto Yah. Why don't Israel understand that? Man, that's crazy. It is crazy, okay? Verse 17.
Now Yahweh had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights.
Now, let's look at this for a minute. Should not Jonah have understood by the actions of these heathens that, wait a minute, man, I told you to go to Nineveh and tell that to everybody to be destroyed for their wickedness. But now, I don't want them to be destroyed, but here you is all up in your political doctrine. This and the other. You don't want to go save those people. And now, here it is, you see these heathens, and these same heathens had to put their hands on you and throw you into the ship. And they got converted. And now you out here in the middle of the ship. Now, I think that he should have had enough sense at that point. Something should have changed Israel. Do some of you all have to be thrown into the middle of the sea, into the belly of the ship for y'all to understand this truth here? That's what I want to know. Or can we read these scriptures for an example to understand what's correct, what's true, and what's not true? Okay? Israel, what's your point? What's your purpose? That's what we're dealing with right here. Okay? Jonah, 2nd chapter, verse 1.
Then Jonah prayed unto Yahweh his Elohim out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto Yahweh, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. For thou hast cast me into the deep, into the midst of the sea, and the floods compassed me about. All thy billows and thy waves passed over me. Then I said, I am cast out of thy sight, yet I will look again towards thy holy temple.
And now he's praying. He said, then I said, I am cast out of thy sight. But that's what you was trying to do from the very beginning, to be cast out of thy sight. Running from the presence of Yah. And now you started to feel how real it was being cast out. Oh yeah, that's something. And that's happy.
And he fled from the presence.
Right, that's right. Wow. All right, go ahead.
Yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. The waters compassed me about, even to the soul. The depths closed me round about. The weeds were wrapped about my head. I went down to the bottom of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. Yet thou hast brought my life from corruption, O Yahweh my Elohim. When my soul fainted within me, I remembered Yahweh, and my prayer came in unto thee, into thy holy temple. They that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. But I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay that our vowed salvation is of Yahweh. And Yahweh spake unto the fish, and it vomited out Jonah upon the dry land.
Okay, so right now, in my mind, I'm like, man, there's some good words he said in the belly of that fish right there. Okay? He definitely got some understanding. Man, he about to do right now.
Yeah.
Alright, 3rd chapter, Jonah 3rd chapter, verse 1.
And the word of Yah came unto Jonah the 2nd time, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee.
Man, he like, oh man. I thought you might have sent somebody else about all this time.
Wow.
You know, but the father said, now you go do what I told you to do the first time, all right? Okay.
So Jonah arose and went unto Nineveh according to the word of Yahweh. Now Nineveh was a great city of 3 days' journey. And Jonah began to enter the city a day's journey, and he cried and said, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. So the people of Nineveh believed Elohim, and proclaimed a fast, and put on sackcloth, from the greatest of them even to the least of them.
These heathens didn't even waste no time. Why we keep reading about these heathens don't be wasting no time when it comes down to sin and serving Yah? I can't even understand it.
Right.
They didn't even waste no time. He went into the city, crying, hey, 40 days and y'all are history. And they didn't waste no time. Whatever little celebration they had going on, it was done.
Right.
Go ahead.
For the word came unto the king of Nineveh, and he arose from his throne. And he said, he laid his robe from him, and covered him with sackcloth and satin ashes.
This king did not have no pride about him at all. You know how easy that pride could have been? Because Nineveh was a great city.
Right.
Okay, they were great. He could have been like Pharaoh so easily.
Right.
Will somebody get this fool with wearing whatever he had on there, beard, whatever looked like he can, smelling like fish vomit? When you get him off the street here, okay, this heathen, whatever, Hebrew, whatever, how easy could that have been?
Right.
But he heard, and he's like, whoa, whatever was going on, whatever he was in the middle of, whatever he had on, royal, regal, whatever, he threw it off of him so quick, fast, and hurry. I can't understand it.
Right.
I can't understand it. That's right. And I don't know nobody, man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he didn't even give no regard to somebody else coming up like, if the king's stupid, is he gonna listen to this foreigner come up in the street talking about this? King wasn't being political at all. Hey, y'all. You know what? Who knows? He probably been like Gibeon, like, hey, I know about Sodom. I know about Gomorrah. I know about Pharaoh Ramses. I know about, he probably was like that. He probably understood that. And when he said, oh, that is our time, it's our time. I ain't going out like that. Hey, go get my sackcloth. Go get my ashes. Man, this is heavy when you look at this and break this thing down. But it said the word came to the king, word came. King ain't even seen Jonah. That's heavy. King ain't even saw Jonah. Word, somebody else came and said, hey, King, you know, they got this Hebrew cat out here looking crazy. They said, we're about to be overthrown in 40 days. I can imagine a regular brand and then the needle goes, and you roll through his Man. Wow. It's just crazy. Man. But it's heavy. Man. So where we at? Verse 7, right.
And he caused it to be proclaimed and published through Nineveh by the decree of the king and his nobles, saying, let neither man nor beast, herd nor flock taste anything. Let them not feed nor drink water. But let man and beast be covered with sackcloth and cry mightily unto Elohim.
Man and beast. Covered with sackcloth and cry mightily unto Elohim. I don't understand it, but go ahead.
Yea, let them turn everyone from his evil way. Let them everyone turn from his evil way and from the violence that is in their hands.
We ain't supposed to do violence. Violence and evil is one and the same in the sight of YAH. Cain killed Abel. That was the violence right there. The Father ain't with that, brothers and sisters, okay? All that belongs up to the Father. It don't belong unto you unless the Father gives it to you. And that's a whole other lesson right there. But right here, that's what he's saying. All this evil, this violence that we've been doing over here, hey, that's over with right now. Okay, this is history. Go ahead.
And who can tell if Elohim will turn and repent and turn away his fierce anger that we perished on?
So the king, they ain't even tell the king what Jonah said if we repent that he's going to turn away. That wasn't even out of the mouth of Jonah. The king thought that in his mind. Just like Gibeon. Gibeon didn't think, you know, like they didn't know what the end was. They just knew what they were conspired to do. They knew that they were going to turn their hearts right. And let the Father deal with it how he's going to deal with it. That's the day. That's man.
This king must have some type of understanding.
He did.
And Elohim saw their work, and they turned from that evil way, and Elohim repented of the evil that he had said that he was doing to them. And he did it not.
Wow. See, the Father, his mercy is a mercy that we can't even comprehend, brothers and sisters. So while we trying to put people into the lake of fire, you already messed up right there because you know not the mercy of the Most High. You know not the mercy of the Most High. Okay? And, you know, obviously with Jonah having been in the fish for 3 days and 3 nights, you know, he's seeing all that. He should, you know, be like, man, all right, YAH, you know, he done did this thing out of my mouth and saved these people. Hallelujah. Blessed be the name of YAH. Okay? Let's see if that be the case. 4th chapter, verse 1.
But it displeased Jonah exceedingly. He was very angry.
Man, come on. I cannot comprehend this. Just like some Hebrews today, I can't comprehend it, okay? Just like those heathens feared God exceedingly, Jonah here was displeased, but he was displeased exceedingly. And he was very angry. This is what he's angry about. Go ahead.
And he prayed unto Yahweh and said, I pray thee, O Yahweh, was not this my saying when I was yet in my country? Therefore I fled before unto Tarshish, for I knew that thou art a gracious Elohim and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repentance thee of the evil.
Now, I'm going to ask, you know what? Wow. Here's the thing with that, the Father judges kids a little bit different from the way he judged. It's good to tell you that in time past he winked at them.
Right.
And that's the way you do with those who are unlearned, okay? They may have a certain judgment coming to them, but wait a minute, you're supposed to know better. That's how he dealt with Jonah. Look at what he's saying here. He says, for I know that you are a gracious Elohim, merciful, slow to anger. Yes! Especially to those who had not the knowledge.
Right.
But to you, he put you in a fish belly. Because you should have known better. Same thing how he dealt with us as a people, Israel. Look at us and understand why we're going through what we're going through, because our fathers should have taught us. We are the people of the covenant. And because of transgression, this is where we at. So when Jonah's speaking here, he said, I knew you were going to go ahead and save me. That's what I said when I was in my country. Like, you know,
the reason why he fled.
Right. Right. Something that he should have been rejoicing over. Wow. But instead, he got all indoctrinated with evil hate.
Right.
Like Israel today. And even came before the Father with it. You know. Verse 3.
Therefore now, O Yahweh, I beseech thee, my life from... No, start again. Therefore, O Yahweh, take, I beseech thee, my life from me. Therefore now, O Yahweh, take, I beseech thee, my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live.
Wow. Satan has a stronghold on us. Jonah went through all that stuff in the belly of fish, and now he's so mad at the salvation of Nineveh, and he said, it's better, I might as well die. I don't even want to live, I'm so doggone upset.
And he cried when he was in the belly of fish.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Right.
Wow.
Then said Yahweh, dost thou well to be angry? So Jonah went out of the city and sat on the east side of the city, and there made him a booth and sat under it in the shadow so he might see what would become of the city.
He was sitting there hoping that somebody in that city would mess up. They'll be just like the heathens we know them to be. They're going to mess up. Y'all heathens, wicked, evil people. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch y'all be destroyed anyway. So y'all ain't going to be able to handle being a righteous people. That's what his mindset was. That's how we do. You know, all these Gentiles out here deserve death. You don't even know that cat over there. How you going to say that Gentile deserves death? You don't know nothing about that cat. You know, craziness. Go ahead.
Yahweh Elohim prepared a gourd and made it to come up over Jonah, that it might be a shadow over his head to deliver him from his grief. So Jonah was exceeding glad of the gourd.
Now, the Father prepared, he prepared a gourd for his prophet and made it to come up over Jonah that it might be a shadow over his head to deliver him from his grief. He ain't got no business being grieved in the first place, but the Father, in his mercy, is sending to Jonah, wicked prophet, to defend him from his grief. And now he was, just like he was exceedingly angry, now he's exceedingly glad because of the gourd.
Right. Wow.
He's a simple-minded cat. Go ahead.
But Elohim prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day, and it smote the gourd that it withered. And it came to pass when the sun did arise that Elohim prepared a vehement east wind, and the sun beat upon the head of Jonah that he fainted, and wished in himself to die. and said, it is better for me to die than to live. And Elohim said to Jonah, doest thou well to be angry for the gourd? And he said, I do well to be angry even unto the death.
That's how some of us are, man. Mean mugging all the time. You know, we think that that's, you know, how you get respect. You got to mean mug people. You got to say all type of stuff, you know, to show respect. You got to have that sort of like a swagger. You know, you got to come like that. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Yeah, you know, and that's how Jonah was. Man, I am mad. I do well to be angry. That's what you know, how that perpetual. You know how you see some of the Italians be like that, like Robert De Niro, or you look at Sopranos. I just work out Sopranos. It's like you see him, you always got that.
Right.
That is, you know, so I can imagine him being like, I do well to be angry. Some of us just live off that anger energy. I don't understand it, but go ahead.
Then said Yahweh, thou hast pity on the gourd, for the which thou hast not labored, neither madest thou to grow, which came up in the night and perished in the night. And should I not spare Nineveh, that great city wherein are more than 6,000 persons that cannot discern between their right hand and their left hand, and also much cattle?
And we're left with a question. So we don't even know if Jonah repented of that wicked spirit that he was obviously under. We don't even know whether he did or not. Father left us with a question.
Wow.
It's heavy. It's heavy. Sometimes you got a book in the scriptures. I'd have called it the judgment of Nineveh or something, but it's called the book of Jonah. Right? You know, it's heavy, okay? But Israel, what did you learn from that, though? That's what I want to know. What did you learn? Where did you see yourself in the context of that? What is your purpose? Israel, what is our purpose? Okay?